Well, good evening. Good evening, Instagram, and good evening, Facebook. And I'll just get rid of that signal. That was just my Uber ranking email coming through from Uber Eats asking me, what did I rate my delivery for Vietnamese food this evening? Well, hello everyone on this Sunday night. Matt Clarkson, how are you? And Mole, good to see you. Geez, I enjoyed meeting you and your husband on Friday. Sonny from Ray White in Brisbane, heading to Brisbane tomorrow morning. Good evening, Ben. How are you? Good evening, everyone coming on. Hello, Emil. Good evening, my friend. Good evening, everyone. We got a great rant tonight. We are going to talk about how to actually win market share. Hello, Rob Travato, Paul Dugan. How you going? Carl Secondus. How you going from Darwin? Johnny Lachlan. Anyway, gang, I've got a sore back. I played squash again, and I pushed myself more than I should have. And I've got a sore back, and I've got a week of traveling. I haven't stopped, to be honest with you. From the day I got back from Europe, I have not stopped, and it will continue. Hello, Shane. Hello, Effie. Hello, Athanasios from Greece, a real estate agent from Greece. Jay Peters, how you going? Enough of the hellos. Hello, Cindy. Sam Wells, good evening to everyone. And even if I haven't said hello, I mean to say hello. Okay, so Carl has left Darwin and he's in Melbourne. And I can tell you, tomorrow's weather will be colder in Melbourne than what it is in Darwin. First time viewer, Sarah Bauer, welcome here. Hello, Marcel from the UK. Shane from North Queensland. How are you? Anyway, gang, let's get the show on the road. One of the questions I'm asked a lot is, how do you actually break into a new market? Or how do you, if you're selling, the average price properties in your area, how do you move on to actually start selling the higher end of the market? How do you go to prestige end? Or if you're not even in real estate, how do you book yourself solid in a new marketplace? Or if you're launching a new product. So, g'day, Aaron, good to see you. So, what I thought I'd do is share with you a concept I have used in business. It's a concept that was introduced to me by the Murdochs, where I've learned a lot of strategy was actually picked up through my time working for Murdoch. And I was in there, I'm still involved with them, not as closely, but I was there on Friday when I met Anmol there for some meetings. Yasu Angelo. So I want to introduce you to a strategy called Loss Leader Strategy. Some of you may be aware of it. Those that aren't, I'm going to explain it. Loss Leader Strategy is a strategy that is used in business in many products and services by corporations all over the world and have used them long term. And what it is when you're going into a new market and you don't have runs on the board and you don't have brand recollection and you don't have a client base that already is on your side and there's trust in it, what you need to do, my friends, is actually differentiate yourself, total separation, and make it easy. Hey, Gordon, he's my videographer. He's currently, I think, in Amsterdam. Take care of yourself in Amsterdam. We know what happens in Amsterdam. What happens in Amsterdam stays in Amsterdam. Is that what they say? Anyway, so guys and girls, Loss Leader Strategy is all about the following. Hey, Paul. That, for instance, prestige. When I was in real estate in my early years, I wanted to break into the market that sold the expensive homes in the expensive streets, which was the prestige market. But there were other people that were, dominating that market. So it was really, really hard. So the way Loss Leader Strategy worked is this, that you turn around and you say, for this product, this sector of the market, I will not make money. That's what the term comes in, loss leader. It becomes a product that you start winning. You don't make money on it, but it helps other parts of your business. And the way it helped me was the following. By going in at a much lower fee for the prestige end of the market, it meant that I was able in the early stages to create a separation point and give a reason for people to use me. The second thing is, even though I made hardly any money out of those deals, what it allowed me to do was actually win in other markets and also other listings. And the reason why was the following. When you had the prestige end, what would happen is buyers, hello Catherine, you would have buyers that would visit that property and they were potential vendors because they were trading up. So actually it ended up helping your ultimate business. It helped helping your profit and loss. It helped you actually improve your GCI, even though you were losing money on that higher end of the market. The second benefit out of using the loss leader strategy is that then what happened is this. People got to know you as the person that sold top end. So in a matter of 1 year, you can totally change the game in any business by using loss leader strategy. Now, fast moving consumable goods always will use this strategy. For instance, they will not make money. Johnson & Johnson won't make money on baby wipes, but when you're looking at the baby wipes, you're buying the other products next to them. And what happens is they'll make a profit there. Car dealerships do it sometimes as well. And what they'll do is that they'll make no money on a car. Like they'll sell a car and make zero money on it. And then what will happen, thank you, Nick Rigas has reminded me on hydration. And then what the car people will do is actually then turn around and make money on the fact that they're going to give you some permaclad to protect your paintwork. They're going to give you something for your windows. They're going to sell you some insurance product. They're going to go off and sell you some other warranty product. And what actually happens is that they'll make their margins there. But the way that they got you into the deal is they won you on price, knowing that you'd be shopping around talking to other people that had exactly the same car. So cruise ships do the same. So the bottom line is, yes, so Chrissy knows very well that there's no money in wipes. She knows firsthand because she's an ex-corporate person working at Lang and Simmons in Rosebery off the top of my head, and she's having a real go. Follow her. She's very good. She's having a real crack on social media, been in real estate now for around 2 years. Anyway, so that's loss leader strategy. No matter, and by the way, I used this in the early stages with public speaking. What I would do is if I knew I had a big audience where there would be, 500 plus people, hey, I went in at a low fee. And the reason why was this, that I knew that I was selling myself in front of those 500 people. And what was happening is potentially another 30, 40, 50 speaking gigs afterwards, right? So what happens is, hey, book me, right? But I get 500 people that I'm talking to. What happens then? You pick up another 20 gigs and gang, you get those at full yield. So you can work in, this works in any category or any business. So gang, let's move on to the next point. The next point I want to talk to you about is learned helplessness. Learn helplessness. A lot of the times in coaching, I think what I'm doing when I'm working with someone, and please do not send me a message. This is not me, asking or promoting for work. I simply will not take on any more one-on-one coaching clients. So this is not me doing an infomercial. This is me giving you an observation, me reporting to you that in coaching, when I work with someone, what I notice is that they have got into this pattern of learned helplessness, which means is that they believe they're stuck. And a lot of the times they don't know how to get out. They don't think that they can get out. They think that their situation means that there is no way that you can actually, what's Maddie saying here? You don't need to prospect for work because you're number one. Thank you, Maddie. And you're number one. You're the number one real estate practitioner agent there, and you've proved it 3 years in a row, Maddie, because you did it at McGrath's 3 years in a row, Maddie. And form is temporary and class is permanent. So remember that. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about learn helplessness. So, and I'll talk about an experiment. In 1972, Martin Seligman, a highly intelligent person, I would say the actual architect of positive psychology, a professor from a university in Canada, which I can't actually recollect now. But Martin Seligman studied something quite interesting, and that is when you actually get dogs, right? And you put these dogs in a box, right? And what happened is he would put shocks on the dogs. You couldn't do this experiment now, maybe in this new politically correct world. He would put a shock on the dogs. And then what would happen is the dogs would try and get away, but what would happen is they couldn't get away because they were blocked in this big box, right? So they couldn't get away. So what happened is this. Then what they did is they actually got them out of a box, and then they could get away. But what happened is that they had learn helplessness. So what they would do is shock them. But because they realized when they tried to get away, they couldn't get away on the first occasion, they began to realize there's no point. Just keep accepting the shocks. Now, you know, the same experiment has happened. You know, it's like you put a fly, in a jar, and you put the lid on, and it hits the lid trying to get out, hits the lid trying to get out, hits the lid to try to get out. And then what actually happens is, after it's hit the lid about 4, 5, 6, 7 times, it realizes it can't get out. Then the strange thing happens is you take the lid off, and the fly won't even attempt to get out because it's accepted that it can't do anything about a situation. And I've used, two metaphors there to help you understand that a lot of times I notice people in real estate, they have got learned helplessness. And that is that they have a belief, they have a story, a self-limiting belief at that. And that is that they simply believe that they can't get better in their current situation. Hypothetically, let's turn around and say, let me pick a couple of examples. They just don't think that they're capable of improving, right? They just don't think that they're capable of improving. And what actually happens, in fact, I'll give you some more research in, where was it? It was in, man, I just had a mental blank in what part of the USA, but what they did is in the streets of the USA where there's a lot of homeless people, what they did is to try and reduce the homeless statistic out there, they provided, apartments to the homeless, and they provided them with a mentor. And what they did is they taught them that you don't have to live this way, right? By making it easy for them to have a transition. And they reduced homelessness in the streets. I can't remember whether it was New York or where, but it was 72%. Validated research. And they just did two things. It was in San Francisco. Thank you so much, Nicholas. They just did two things. What they did is they gave the person a place, and then they gave them a mentor and said, hey, we're going to help you sort of get off the streets. This is what we're doing. We're going to teach you how to get a job. And that is in many ways what coaching is all about. It's about finding someone that can mentor you to take you away from the hopeless position that you think that you're in, that you can't get out. Now, in business, I see a lot of people turn around and say, fuck, shit, Tom, I'm just a shit public speaker. I'm not a good public speaker. I'm not a good public speaker. And then what happens is they get a bit of training, a bit of coaching, a bit of feedback, a bit of video work. They see themselves on the video, then they, tweak it a little bit. And then before you know it, hey Vanessa, and before you know it, hey Bernard, before you know it, what actually happens is the person improves, they're getting feedback, they're improving, and all of a sudden they move away from this stuck position of learned hopelessness, right? And that's why I believe that people should actually look at coaches and mentors and say to themselves, you know, hey, where I am right now is my current situation. It is not my final destination. And I have to say to you, right here, right now, guys and girls watching this on Insta, watching this on Facebook, I don't know where you're at in your life right now. I don't know where you're at in your life. But I can tell you right here, right now, in 90 days, that's 3 months from now, and we're talking, I can't remember, what's the fucking date today? April, anyway, it doesn't matter. August something, right? August 16 or 20th. I can just tell you, August, September, October, November. I can tell you in November, on the 20th of November, your life can look radically different, totally different on where it is now. If you simply turn around and say, I will actually make a decision that where I am is not where I can be, and what I'll do is I'm going to take action and the right behaviors, and I'll go out and seek out other people that are having success in what I want to do. I will actually try and copy a lot of their information, and every day I will do 3 things to get me closer to what I want my life to look like in 3 months. And then come 3 months, your life looks fucking, radically different. Radically. Hey, Bernard. Guys and girls, that is the concept of Learn Hopelessness. And I just, wanted you to understand that maybe right now, the belief that you have in a situation that's holding you back may be, in fact, learn hopelessness, right? Let's move on. So find a mentor. I want to read out something here. I'm reading a great book at the moment called Super Thinking. And if you can just hang on for me, I've got a fucking sore back. I played squash and I need to fucking, I got to stretch it. Okay. Anyway, so let me just read out. The 1992 Olympics was the first to allow the active professional basketball players from the National Basketball Association to compete. Come with me here. The United States fielded a team dubbed the Dream Team, which the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame has called the greatest collection of basketball talent on the planet. They were the best. The team included legendary players like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Fuck, incredible. By the way, Susan, can you do me a favor? Chrissy, thank you for the yoga. Yeah, I need to stretch. At the end of this, I'm going to do that cobra stretch. It helped before. Anyway, and I'm going to get a massage. I need to get a massage. But I've got to pack my bag because I've got to leave early in the morning. I have to tell you, I am a little bit overwhelmed this evening. I've had a fair bit on today, and yes. Anyway, let's move on. By the way, Susan, Magic Johnson. Was Magic Johnson the guy that got HIV? Can you just Google that, Susan? And I want to find out, is Magic Johnson alive? Please I'm just curious, and let us know, is Magic Johnson alive? He was the guy, I'm convinced he was the guy that had HIV before they had the really good AIDS medication that they have now, which means that you can actually, I think you can actually live with HIV and not die from it. I could be wrong, but Susan, find out, is Magic Johnson or someone else, is Magic Johnson still alive? Anyway, in fact, 11 of the 12 players are in the Hall of Fame today. 11 out of the 12. Collectively, they defeated their opponents by an average of 44 points, right? That was in 1992. So you got this all-stars basketball team, right? Then in 1996, they had a similar result. With the US team returning 5 members of the original Dream Team to join Shaquille O'Neal. Wow. Reggie Miller. I've never fucking heard of him. Again, in 2000, so that was 96. They smashed it. Then, it says, in 2000, the United States won gold with relative ease. So think about it. They allowed the professional players to play at the Olympic Games. 92, they smash it. 96, they smash it. 2000, they smash it. But then, in 2004, something strange happened. Despite having the most talented players, including LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Allen Iverson, the US team lost 3 games, the most for the US ever, and left with only 1 bronze medal. In fact, it lost the first game of the tournament to Puerto Rico by 92-73, the biggest loss recorded by any US Olympic basketball team. Argentina then defeated United States in the semifinals in one of the most surprising upsets in Olympics history and went on to win gold medal. Though Argentina had several NBA players, blah, blah, blah. Why did the US team fall short of gold? And it works out this. The historical analysis converges on the fact that the US team wasn't much of a team. It was more like a loose collection of individual stars. They only practiced together for a few weeks before the tournament, not enough time to get used to playing with one another. They also didn't have enough players with experience at all the different positions. By contrast, other countries selected players to complement one another, and then those players worked together for years and knew each other's strengths and weaknesses, honing their collective playing styles and eventually gelling as a team. Why is this important, guys and girls? Because it's basically explaining to you why a lot of the times a team is what's going to win, and not just having all these superstars in this team. Hello, Andrew Fox. Now, what is interesting is, let me give you some interesting facts. Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion when it had 13 employees. That's right, they had 13 employees when they bought Instagram. And then Facebook ended up buying WhatsApp, and WhatsApp only had 58 employees, right? What it is this. I'm telling you, you know what? You have a team of people that are nimble. You have a team of people that are working together. You have a team of people that are fast. Fast will beat big any day of the year, right? Fast will beat big. And that's why we're seeing startup companies that have got only 1%, actually sometimes 0.1% of a revenue of a large incumbent, and they come in and they smash it because they've got the right people as a group at the right time heading in the right direction. Man, that is exciting. And in real estate, it's super exciting because a young girl with a PA or a young guy with a PA comes along and they can actually cause disruption in a marketplace very, very quickly by having a separation point. I mean, I'm seeing Lisa Novak do it now. Lisa Novak has gone out there giving it a low barrier entry to a vendor, saying to a vendor, hey, you can list with us initially at no cost, and we're going to use social media platforms to actually have a crack at getting a buyer. So what she's done is, in many ways, she's created a separation, a unique selling proposition. Guys and girls, let me move on. I want to then, move on and explain, because I think a lot of, salespeople, they use the term strategy. And I thought what I'll do is just simplify things easy for the salesperson that is not working in leadership, but needs to actually be a leader. And here it is. Number 1, strategy is not tactics, and tactics is not strategy. Hello, Tina. Okay, that's the first thing. Strategy is not tactics. 2 different things. Strategy is the big picture. Strategy is the person that's thinking, this is what it's going to look like in the end. This is the long-term picture. So this person is normally someone that is intelligent, patient, analytical, and can actually see a strong gap and a thing that can solve a problem. Tactics is short term. Tactics is what will we do next to get towards the strategy. Tactics is the details. Strategy is the big picture. Tactics is what I am going to be doing to achieve my strategy. And I think a lot of people turn around and they fuck it up because they don't start with the end in mind. And what they're doing is a salad approach of actions that aren't leading into anything. So guys and girls, I want you to get super clear. Whatever you're doing, have some sort of idea that this is what this thing I'm trying to do, and then align your tactics, which are your actions that you're doing each day. Anyway, gang, I want to introduce you to another principle that I think can be really useful in people's lives, and that is a principle called DRI. Susan, type this out for him. By the way, everyone, Susan had food poisoning. Susan was unwell for 24 hours. So can everyone please wish Susan a speedy recovery, because a strong Susan is a strong Australia. Let's move on. DRI. DRI. This is what it stands for. Direct, responsible individual. DRI. Direct, responsible individual. What does that mean? Matty Pilios. I'm keeping my eyes on this guy from Marshall White, been in real estate for 5 years. Oh, Susan. Susan just said, oh my God, fuck off. Susan just said that. Susan can't take it when I'm nice to her. She struggles with it. Susan, please type this down. Direct, responsible individual. DRI. Apple. It's the secret to Apple. Apple was obsessed with the following, and that is, at the end of each meeting, every action in that meeting had a direct, responsible individual. There wasn't, oh, no, it's her job. Here, no. Whose name is going on this? Whose name is going on this? And I have to tell you that this is important, because there's a term called the bystander effect. And the bystander effect is if there's no direct responsibility given to an individual, the bystander effect is like, there's 4 of us here, like, I don't know, and then fucking people wither out of it, and then no one does it. DRI, direct, responsible individual. The opposite of that is the bystander effect. And the bystander effect is no one says anyone, there's 4 or 5 people there, and people walk away out of a meeting not knowing who's responsible. And you know what? When you don't have someone that's responsible for it, there's no accountability, guys and girls. I also love the guy that came up, PayPal, Peter Thiel, smart guy. His executives, he just would say to them, hey, I'm letting you know, you're only responsible for one thing. And when I have my one-on-one meetings with you, I don't want to talk about anything else. All I want to talk about is the one thing that you're responsible for. That's all I want to talk about. Don't deviate the subject. Don't move on to triviality. Don't talk about the weather. All I want to talk about is that main core thing. And that's what keeps an organization going, boys and girls. And if you have got staff and you're watching this, I'd love you all to learn both those two things, and that is direct responsible individual and also understanding the bystander effect, and that when you have your one-on-ones, you talk to them about the number one most important thing in their job and nothing else. Guys and girls, on that point, I am going to leave you tonight. I'm going to go down. I've got a sore back from squash. I love playing squash, and I've started playing, and for some reason today it hurt. Tomorrow morning we've got an 8:30 flight to Brisbane, whole day training there. Then we hop on a plane, head to Coffs Harbour via Sydney, doing Lismore. Then we got Melbourne, then back in Northern Beaches with the Novaks on Friday. I've got it's going to be busy till mid-October. There's not a day that it's not happening. Auctions are going good. Guys and girls, I want to leave you on this point. Have an attitude of gratitude. No matter where you are in life right now, it could be fucking much worse. I only found out today that a guy that I knew went to school with my daughters. It fucking upset me, you know. Anyway, I didn't know he had died, but he's fucking a bit younger than me. Left 4 kids behind. I only found out tonight. Anyway, you know what? I'm going to go lie down, and then I'm going to lie down for half an hour, and then what I'm going to do, I want to give myself, I just want to lie down for half an hour, and then I'm going to go pack my bag. So tomorrow morning, I'm not running around while the Uber guy's waiting outside. Guys and girls, thank you so much. Enjoy you. Love to Insta, love to Facebook. God bless you.